And I must tell you, you can imagine, I've been through, I think it's 7 of these, where in 3 instances, people I represented who had overall deals did not register their material. There were features that came out at the studio level. They were copied word for word in some scenes, and the only reason we didn't go to court is because the studio settled on private, confidential. But my point being is, if we'd have gone to the court, I can tell you, we'd have killed them. I mean, we'd have lost there, but on the other 4, we'd have killed them. And on all 7, they settled. So just know that one thing: make sure you register your material.
So you're talking about register with WGA?
Yeah, register with WGA, or just register in the state. Just make sure it's state registered. Okay.
As opposed to federal register.
Yeah, exactly. Look, as soon as you write this, you got the bylaws of the university. That's not enough. You want to get the state protection also of the state laws, because if it happens here.
I have been in the industry for many years. It's the first time I've heard a sensible reason for registering in the state.
How do you register in the state?
Well, what you can do is you can send it back to yourself as one. You can do that right away. But if you want, you can. One of the reasons, look, this is always the hardest stuff. I personally don't like representing anybody who doesn't have an attorney. So I don't encounter any of these issues anymore. And the reason being is because I don't want to encounter them. It's one more albatross to deal with. So I'm always looking to make sure we have a team. Now, if you're changing attorneys, or you're relatively new and you don't know an attorney, then I make recommendations of saying, here's 3, you pick me. I don't like to say, here's one, you go with that one, because if it doesn't work out, who gets blamed, right? But I like to make sure there's a team. And as you know, at the agency level, at William Morris, et cetera, ICM, all these agencies, they have in-house counsel, but they can't function as your attorney. If you read the agency contracts, obviously, which I have, our own contracts, if we have a business affairs person, in turn, they can't represent your counsel. They're representing the agency in business matters. So that's why you need an outside attorney who gives you, again, minimizes or diminishes conflict of interest issues, but at the same time protects you in the sense that hopefully they have a separate point of view. They give you one more fresh point of view. It costs you 5%, but it's tax deductible at the end of the year, and I always think it's a salvation. At the end of the day, because you always want, what's the rarest word left in this business? The rarest word. What? Free. That's pretty good. Loyalty. Loyalty. It's not much loyalty. You got to build loyalty. That's why you have an attorney, have an agent, have a manager, whatever it is. How you work in terms of represent publicist, manager, agent, whatever that team is. It's critical to build up relationships. And when you were asking earlier about how do you go about soliciting yourself. You go to the WGA meetings, you go to these coffee collections, you go to these warm-ups, you interact with people before you know it, you're networking, and on the strikes, when they were on strike, and depending on where they were, I cannot tell you how many relationships were born on strikes, on the line, with people. I'm telling you right now, we have 3 television series that we've been pitching. We just sold 2 of them, based on people on the strike line together who bonded. One of our clients and one with another agency, and we just set up 2 pilots just based on that. Which is, I find, if that's a sampling or an insight to something for yourself.
So we need to walk the picket line for sure.
Or the imaginary one, anyway. Okay.
Okay. So all right. So for the people who don't have agents,
right.
And I'll let you go here.
No. I didn't want to take up your time.
Okay. For the people who don't have agents,
because you haven't. I saw another guest here again.
Yeah.
Okay.
What would you recommend on how to go about getting an agent? There's no pressure.
No. It's again, it's I don't find it. This is not one of those. There's not one answer that fits all. But I think there's certain things that you can kind of digest and evaluate for yourself about how to approach somebody. First of all, if you're unknown, you don't go to CAA because now that doesn't mean the CAA wants to represent you. Absolutely. I'm just saying, find somebody more in line with who would give you some access and will read. Because in the high-powered environments, unless you're a playwright, you did a play and you adapted it, and that play did well, let's say a client of a particular agency was in that play, you might be able to track that as a tie-in and piggyback from that actor's relationship with that particular agency, and before you know it, you have yourself an agency or a management company representing you. So I would just say to you is that there is, again, no one way to do this, but it's kind of a trial and error. You have to, day in and day out, keep up, kind of like your sense of organization. Every morning you wake up and you have your 5 agents, not only agency, but agents that you focus in on. You say, I saw this picture, and I really loved the writing on that one. It was kind of a thing. I went to Sundance, I saw it, and never got released or anything. Boy, I really loved the writing. You look up and say, that agency's in New York. Wow. You call the assistant or the secretary or the aide-de-camp, charge d'affaires, and you say, by the way, I'm so-and-so, I saw the thing, and maybe that's your way in. There's no one way to go in there. I personally am pretty reluctant to get material through the transom because more often than not, when I was younger, it seemingly was easier. I find it more difficult today. So I'm much more cautious that if it doesn't come from a recommendation from somebody, I'm pretty reluctant to take on any new material. And partly, and this is a kind of a simple business dynamic, unfortunately. You only have so much time. And if the clients that you represent, the human beings you're representing, if you take on a new one, you have to divide up your time and then you want more time. And so you have to make a real serious evaluation. Is this somebody you want to represent? Because you need to know that one script does not make a career. And that's what happens. Too often writers have that one script and they go, oh my God, I got the script, and then you see the script and hey, it was really good. So what else you got? You say, this is not, I can use this as a writing sample, but I'll never see this as a motion picture. Beautiful period piece. In the vein of Atonement. But you're a guy from Kansas, The Brits got it down, Atonement. They've got that universe down, but it's beautifully rendered. I love what you did. You spiced it up, you gave it contemporary feel to it, great. But now how do we get it made? So now for using that as a writing sample, how does that take your career next step? Well, I got another great period piece. I want to do pre-Atlas Shrugged. Okay. All right. So it's incumbent on you to I think as you get to know each other too, you got a bond. You got the benefit of some great folks here is that get a sense of who the agents are that are representing the writers you like. Because if you're just going to throw it up and see if it sticks or not, you might be doing yourself a disservice. So in other words, you just say, I'm putting it out there so I can get an agent or a manager, and you just make calls errantly, you might get the devil. You may not get what you wanted. So I would attempt to be a little bit more selective. And I hope, it's the best that I can give you. It's trial and error. It's every day, and you have to select. But sometimes if you look to the success or some of the writers that are working right now or have done something, you might be able to track in or piggyback, as I said, to their representatives. I would find that to be easier. The other thing, of course, is as you network with people, you will get access. There's no way you will not have access if you network. There's no way. I'm absolute about that. Okay, I will present this two sides. One side is as you clearly tell stories that you really believe in, and you normally will come up with the truth, so the stories will capture you and will allow the person reading it to feel connected emotionally at some level. You want to make the stakes obviously important enough so you can stay connected, whether it's comedy or drama. And the second thing is that don't sell yourself short. If you're going to chase the market about what's the latest success, you're always going to be chasing the market. You've got to follow your passion. And look, there's so many great books that we realize how long it took to write those books that we revere, the 500 top books in the world that everybody has on their list. It took forever sometimes to write these books. It came from passion. So I would just say you have to stay with your passion and don't let anybody dissuade you from your passion, because dreams do come true.
Thank you very much.